Hi, I'm Lanny, and this is Preserving Today. All right, today I want to talk about stinging nettles. This is not an identification video. There's plenty of people who are sciencey about plants that can tell you all about how to tell. Today I want to talk about the most basic way of preserving them so you can get them while they're in season and then figure out what you're going to do with them later. And that's drying. Of course, this was something I thought was a nuisance and a weed for my entire life, and I'm happy to know that we can eat them. Because if you can't beat it, eat it. And we certainly can't beat this weed on our property. Nettle is really good for a lot of different things, and most people look at it as a nuisance and a weed. It spreads like crazy. It stings you when you touch it. What could be good about it? Well, I'll tell you. Nettle is rich in many different beneficial nutrients, has potassium, fiber, even protein, calcium, vitamin B6, iron, magnesium, among other things. There are many ways to preserve stinging nettles, such as drying, freezing, making tinctures or salves, or using oil like I do in my nettle pesto, and you can see in another video that I made. So I have this nice drying rack that I got off of Amazon. It's super cheap. It's just a big net with its different zippered sections, and it's got a big spring that runs through it to keep it all separated. So you can open each compartment, line it with the nettles, zip it back up, and it lets the air flow through. To dry them, I did nothing. I just shook the dirt off of them and put them in the drying rack, let them go for about 3-4 days. So after these are completely dry, I just move them out. I'm gonna just pile them here in this big bowl and then sit down for some picking. I don't need to save these big stems, so I'm just gonna save the leaves. I'm wearing gloves to protect my hands, and I'm just gonna pick the leaves off of these stems and put the leaves into a glass jar and put the stems into my compost. As I go, I press down on the dry nettles, which will help crunch them up. That way they take up less space so I can fit more into this jar. And this will go in my pantry for when I'm ready to make something. Nettle tea on its own is really good, but tea blends are also a fun ways to use nettle. Here I have my tea blend that I made most recently. Raspberry leaf, chamomile, elderberry, rose, nettle, lemon balm. The possibilities are endless. Using nettle in tea blends is a fun way to use the nettle, but make it unique to you. So put whatever you like in there. As far as brewing a homemade loose leaf tea blend like this, I have 2 ways of doing it. I have these disposable tea bags with a fabric string. It's just like a drawstring bag. You close that and use it just like you would a store-bought tea bag. The other way I like to do it is this reusable tea strainer. And I like this one because I like to make pretty big batches of tea. I'll drink some of it hot, and then I'll save the rest to have iced later. This one is by Tivana, and I'll also link to this in the description. So that's it for today. Saving nettles is easy, and there's lots of ways for doing it. I recommend checking out my nettle pesto video as well, so you can save fresh, raw nettles. Do you use nettle? Does it grow where you live? Let me know in the comments. I'm Lanny, and this was Preserving Today.